Hello and welcome to another episode of Siena Saints Weekly. I'm your host, Bibi Buksh, here to bring you all the action on your Siena Saints. So let's get right into things by answering last week's trivia question. We wanted to know how many individual victories senior Kayla Bjernberg had in her 4 years. The correct answer was 34. Fortunately, no one got the correct answer, but congratulations to Stacy Android for being one off. If you didn't get a chance to win this time, stay tuned. Your chance to win will come up later on in the show. For now, let's get right into the highlights. Here's Ivy Spade.
Men's lacrosse opening their home schedule, taking on Hobart. Saints trying to protect the nation's longest home winning streak, currently sitting at 6 games. This one would be a seesaw battle, down 2-0 quickly when they went on their run. Richie Hurley connecting on his second goal of the season to cut the deficit in half. And this would tie it. MAC Preseason Player of the Year, Danny Martinson, picks up his first tally of 2013. And the Saints would take the lead, their first of the day, with a strike by Nate Berry. His second of the year, 3-2 Siena. The game would feature 3 more ties, and Siena found themselves down 9-8. But then they took advantage of a man-up situation. First, Kevin Cousin would tie the affair with his first career tally. Less than 1 minute later, still in the man-up, it's Berry again. First career hat trick for Berry, Saints up 10-9. But then the Statesmen went on an 8-1 run, led by their leading scorer, Alex Love. His 4th of the game, and the Saints fall for the first time at home under head coach John Sveck, 18-15 to Hobart.
The women's basketball team enters its vital stretch run of the season. For more on this and last weekend, Ivy Spate sat down with head coach Allie Jacks.
Let's talk a little bit about the weekend and the game against Niagara. You used a little bit of a different starting lineup. Can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sometimes you just need to make a change, and I felt defensively we really had to get back after people and get back after Niagara and try to play a little bit more up-tempo, a little bit more aggressive. So I think that lineup really helped us do that.
And you played one of your best defensive effort of the season, and for a coach that really emphasizes defense, that really must have looked good for you.
Yeah, I think it felt good for our team more than it looked good for anybody. I think it felt good for our team, and I think, that's one thing we've tried to depend on all year long, and give Ryder a lot of credit on Friday night. They came in and scored a lot of points, and, we had to get back to what we've been focusing on and stressing all year long, and that's just being a tough, hard-nosed defensive team.
So it's your first stretch run now, only 4 MAC games left, your first stretch run as a head coach. What's the difference between this type of year, between a head coach and as an assistant coach?
Well, I think it's seeing the big picture. I think as an assistant coach, you get so focused on whatever scout you're worried about or whatever recruit you're worried about that, you think as an assistant coach, I think I had a little bit of a smaller view, and now I've got to see the big picture, and I have to make decisions that are the best for everybody, all coaches, all players, all staff. So, I think it's a little bit just of a different perspective, but I think we're doing a pretty good job.
One of the big events this past weekend was the 13th annual Pink Zone Game to help raise money for the Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer. Here's some more on the story.
This cause is a special one. There's bigger fights than just winning a basketball game. But the survivors that we have here today have fought the ultimate fight.
There are bigger fights than just the ones fought on the basketball court, and the Siena women's basketball squad takes that message to heart.
It's just an amazing feeling. It's like humbling because they've been through so much and that they've had to fight for so long, and it's inspiring, honestly. It just feels great to just be there for such a great cause.
It's more than just basketball. It talks about and teaches our players about a fight that these women have won, which is beating cancer, and a fight that continues to go on. So the more we can raise money and raise awareness, that's a really special thing.
For the 13th straight year, Siena College teamed up with the Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer, or CRAB, to raise money and awareness for the organization geared to helping survivors who have dealt with breast cancer.
Some people prefer the word warrior, some people prefer the word veteran, but it means that you have achieved something, that the disease did not ruin your life in a way, but you are surviving and living with the fact that you had breast cancer, but that you can go forward.
And now it's time for our Siena Saints trivia question. Women's basketball senior Lily Grensky is just 37 points away from entering the 1,000 point club. Our question: who was the last Siena women's basketball player to reach 1,000 points in her career? If you think you know the answer, post it on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Siena Saints. That's all the time we have for this week. But before we get on to our upcoming schedule, we would like to congratulate Siena men's lacrosse captain Danny Mattinson and Siena softball star Shannon Jones, who were just named candidates for the Senior Class Award. Congrats, Danny and Shannon. And that leads us up to our upcoming schedule. Martinson and the Saints are in action at home on Saturday at 1 p.m. when they take on Binghamton. Other home games this weekend include women's basketball vital game against St. Peter's Friday night. Women's lacrosse plays their home opener Friday at noon against the Titans of Detroit. And finally, the men's basketball team plays their final bracket buster game ever as they take on Bradford on Sunday afternoon. A lot of sports on the road and a lot of season openers. Softball and water polo begin their campaigns. Softball is at East Tennessee State, while water polo will play 4 games in Pennsylvania, beginning with a game against Princeton Saturday morning. Baseball continuing their long road trip with a 3-game series against William and Mary. And finally, the women's basketball team traveled to New Rochelle to take on the Iona Gales. Lots of games, and of course, we'll have all the news on next week's show. Until then, I'm Bibi Buksh. Go Saints!
We love our Saints!